Welcome to Physics for Good. I'm Allison Bowley, and today I want to talk about waves. Now, there are all kinds of examples of waves, but to help us remember the definition, I want you to think about the wave at a sporting event. Now, what do you do at a sporting event when you're doing the wave? Well, you start out sitting down, and then you stand up, and then you sit down again, and then you're done. And that's going to help us remember the definition of a wave in physics. So don't freak out from the words. We're going to break it down. So first of all, a wave is a traveling disturbance. And so down here we have a guy doing the wave while everybody else is sitting down, and it is fairly disturbing. But if you to sort of think about zooming out and think about when you've watched the wave go around at a sporting event, that you watch that disturbance travel all around the stadium. And so that's what a wave is. It's a traveling disturbance. And then this next part here, it's going to transmit energy, and so if you want to sort of loosely think of like the energy is going around the stadium. But here's the key, and here's what we were talking about before. So there's oscillations, but no net movement of matter. And so the matter in this case are humans, and the humans are going to oscillate. They're going to stand up, and they're going to sit down. And so it's an oscillation of humans. We can sort of think of it as a coordinated vibrations. I've seen it referred to other times. And so these coordinated vibrations, or these oscillations, this guy is going to vibrate up and down, oscillate up and down, then this guy, and so it's coordinated, but no net movement, right? He ends up, he's going to stand up and then sit down, but he's going to end up right where he started. And so that's what a wave is.
But let's look at an actual wave, a ripple in a swimming pool. And so the surface of the water may be moving a little bit with wind and what have you, but if you look at the actual wave, the individual water molecules, the matter in this case, are oscillating up and down, and then they're done. It's the energy that moves outward with the wave.
Now light, or any electromagnetic wave, takes this one step further, and it doesn't need matter at all. And that's because the oscillations of light are not oscillations of matter, they're oscillations of electric and magnetic fields. And it's okay if you don't know what that means yet. The point is that light does not need matter. And even other types of waves that do need matter, they don't transport the matter. They only transport the energy. Another way of saying that is they don't transport mass. They only transport energy.
Now, if we think about these oscillations, there's more than one way this can go down. And we're going to talk about two of the main ways. The first is called a transverse wave, and that's where the oscillations, as you can see from the double arrow, are perpendicular to the direction that the energy travels, given by the single arrow. The second is longitudinal, and that's where the oscillations are in the same direction as the energy travels. A ripple was a transverse wave because the molecules moved up and down, and the energy moved in a perpendicular direction outward. Ropes at the gym are also transverse waves because you oscillate the ropes up and down, but the energy travels forward in the perpendicular direction.
Sound is the primary example of a longitudinal wave that we use in real life. When we speak, our vocal cords vibrate and they exert pressure on the air molecules around them. And so those air molecules oscillate like this, which hit their neighbors and oscillate like this, and so on and so forth. And as the sound travels outward, the molecules are oscillating in that same direction.
Returning to our metaphor of a wave at a sporting event brings us back here, to the home of my friends at Dignity Kids. A few years ago, we collaborated on an app, and I was thrilled when they agreed to be in my very first episode of Physics for Good. Dignity Kids was founded by, well, I'll let her tell you.
My name is Senior Master Langren Lee. I'm a 7th degree black belt.
If that's not impressive enough, check out the work they're doing.
Dignity Kids really started back in 1985, and our focus was bullying prevention, hence the martial arts aspect of it. But it changed a lot. In 2009 and 2010 is when my mentor, Dr. Rajdev, contacted me and said, you really need to think about your mission and raising the dignity of children. It's not just about bullying or obesity awareness, but there's STEM education. And raising the STEM identity of children, raising their interest in education, because then they're going to have a different ending in life and by having that education. And I really took it to heart, whether it was something like working with the resting versus active heart rate with the kids, putting a pulse oximeter on here, letting them see what their resting heart rate is. And we do all kinds of games to control our heart. Really kind of anything to inspire the kids to realize that martial arts and sports and everything has science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes, that's what this channel's all about.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Dignity Kids has that part, and then the other part with Dignity Kids, I'd like to have Camille Priest come and share with you something that's very near and dear to our heart, and that's the Pink Belt Revolution.
So every fall, Dignity Kids has a fundraising campaign that we work very hard on nationally to raise funds for children of mothers who are struggling with or currently recovering from breast cancer, as you can see. So it's something that's near and dear to our heart since we're a child-centric organization. And we found also that these children are struggling and suffering along with their mothers through their healing process. Sure. As they make that discovery and they go through the diagnosis and the treatment and the chemotherapy or radiation. Yeah. So we created an opportunity for our community and our donors and sponsors to give back to this cause and ultimately help empower these children to again help with their overall dignity and identity, and to kind of make sure that they know that yes, they're a child, but they can also help by means of writing into us and letting us know what wish they have for their mother. We had a family that had just moved to Arizona before they had found out that their mother was diagnosed, and they just never finished moving in. So mom was spending a lot of time in her bedroom. She, you know, the kids knew this. They would go up to her room to see her, and they felt this, you know, unfinished bedroom kind of happening, and so they wished to completely redecorate her room so that this place she was spending all this time in resting and healing could be a little bit more of a sanctuary for her. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. As you can see, Dignity Kids does lots of cool things, and one of the coolest is teaching me how to break a board.
So the reason in martial arts that we break boards is to show that we actually have the strength necessary to defend ourselves with our moves, because otherwise in the air you just can't really tell how hard you're hitting. Right. And so it is great to have things like real boards to break, and these happen to be plastic boards, but they're rated equivalent of wood boards, but due to environmentalism, sure, these get to break again and again, and we don't have to waste so many trees.
Awesome.
And with breaking boards, there's kind of two things that come into play. There is the physics of it, but there's the mental side too. Okay. And so it's not logical to hit a hard surface, right, and to break a board. Right. And so we do it over and over so that the mental part goes away, we believe in ourselves, and we can do it. Okay. Board breaking, I have 4 levels of boards that we're going to break today. Okay. Have you ever broken a board before?
No, I've never.
Okay, this is exciting.
I'm excited.
The biggest thing, you want to hold your fist really tight, because it becomes now your weapon. If it's a loose weapon, it can crumble. Okay. And so it needs to be sturdy, solid weapon when you come in. Okay. You're going to probably break with a vertical, no, we'll make a horizontal punch. Okay. Yeah, just like that. Okay. And so we're going to make a horizontal board for a horizontal punch. We're going to be locked out, and when you punch, what we want to do, I'm going to have her hold the boards, I'm going to get you a little more distance. Okay. Because switch your feet.
The acceleration. Okay.
Yes, we want more distance so that you can accelerate. Okay. There's also some rotational force that we can apply. So you start with it palm up, and as it comes out, then you're going to rotate. Okay. Another thing we want to think about is our entire body having some torque going on. Okay. So this hand is going to pull back. And for right now, don't worry about breaking the board, just kind of a couple times slow. Think about getting my whole body to rotate through with my punch. Good. And when we do hit the board, we don't ever want to stop right at the board. We need penetration to go all the way through for something to actually break.
Okay, I'm going to come just a little bit closer so I can do that. Okay.
And then when you're ready, I will step on. I think your technique is looking good. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and punch. Good.
Oh, nice.
All right. All the way through. So that's our level 1 board. Okay. And you have no problem with that at all. Cool. With our body mechanics also in our body is if you hold your breath, it's like having the brakes on, so our muscles are in a state of tension. Okay. We need it to be in a relaxed state, and so in martial arts, you can either yell or just exhale your breath. Okay. Either something like that to let it out, and that has a lot of benefit for when you're breaking the board. Okay. Okay, so this is, we'll put it back together here. You almost broke it. Okay. Each board that we go up, they are going to get definitely harder. Okay. And if it gets to where you're not breaking it, we have a 2-pound weight we can put in your hand. Okay. And now that's going to change the equation again. Yes. Okay. Good. Cool. Okay. All right, we got that level. So the first one you broke, I'll tell you now that you've broken a higher level one.
Okay.
That's usually for about 8-year-olds.
Oh, great.
Yay! We broke that one.
I passed.
The next one is for about a 10 or 11-year-old.
Okay.
And then now this is what they call the female board.
Oh,
So
okay.
it is a little bit easier than the male board.
Oh,
Okay, so let's put it back together. I can just tell a little bit that you have your brakes on, and
Okay.
that's part of that mental thing. Your body is just going, no, what are you doing?
Okay.
And you want to make sure that you just relax for speed.
okay.
Okay, a little more exhale. Yes,
There you go.
that was
Cool.
it.
Awesome.
Okay, we're going to go up to the brown board now.
Okay.
And that's the level where it's going to get definitely harder.
Okay.
And I think you're starting to relax with it. Okay, let's go ahead and snap it back together. Let's try to, before we go to the weight,
Okay.
you're doing good and you're in your front stance here, but I'm gonna have you lean back and pick up your foot and then
Okay.
land in it. So we're gonna get a lot more
Okay.
moving towards the board. One more. Okay, so next we are going to grab that weight. And it's always fascinating to me, the difference at 2 pounds. Like, it's crazy that what 2 pounds can make
Cool.
in breaking this board.
So we're adding mass, which of course is not in a wave, but it is in force.
Okay. Still got to go fast.
Okay.
There it is.
Nice. Wow.
All the way through. It
Wow.
feels totally different,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
Going through that. So
Awesome.
that is what we need to do for board breaking.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
That was very empowering.
Congratulations, you did it.
Because this is Physics for Good, half the ad revenue generated from this episode will go to Dignity Kids. And if you want to do more,
Viewers can go to our website, which is dignitykids.org, or if they're interested in more information about our grants for children who are with their mothers through breast cancer, then they can visit wishingforformommy.org.
awesome. Thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing right here and sharing the video with a friend. Also, check out the video description where you'll find a link to the charity you just saw, as well as some affiliate links.